Anasi was right. She was haunted, but not by him.
I wanna fold clothes for you. I wanna make you feel good. Baby, I wanna do the right thing.
Hey y'all, it's producer, and I'm coming at y'all with episode 11 of season 2 of Luke Cage. And how things are building up, I think someone's gonna die. I mean, and that probably doesn't carry too much weight to y'all. You're like, oh, everyone dies. I mean, like someone that, was a mainstay. My money it's on Bushmaster or Mariah, but something is also telling me that Bobby or Claire's gonna come back in the final episode, and they're gonna kill him, and that's gonna send Luke over the cage. I mean, Luke over the edge. Wow, and then killing one of Mariah or Bushmaster, or even both. I don't know. I don't know. And dropped my stuff. So yeah, we start this episode off with Luke praying because he's at the scene at the crime at Gwen's, and I think it's interesting because I don't think we've ever seen him pray before besides, the prayer circle. Was that last episode? No, that was 2 episodes ago. And like I don't know, I don't really see him as a religious person, but maybe his father, after talking to him, made him think about Jesus a bit more. And then with his detective work, Luke tells Missy that there must have been a sole survivor because the blood is going the opposite direction. So we're trying to figure out who is this person. And then we go pick up where we left off in episode 9 with Toda and her treason. And she wants to help out Bushmaster because, her life's on the line and everything. But she's like, I don't have the real stuff. This is some artificial and synthetic nightshade. I need the real deal. I don't know how well his body's going to react to it. But she puts it to him anyway, and he starts, like, spazzing out or whatever. And then they're wondering, oh, how is he going to feel? I mean, no. No, he doesn't even, no, she doesn't put him on him yet. She's just talking about it, and they're looking at him like, oh, I wonder what he's thinking. And we get flashbacks. And first of all, I just want to say that the actor that plays young Bushmaster, or in this case, this is really just young John, he looks like him. Is it just me? Is it just me? Watch him be like related or something, but they look similar. And then in this flashbacks, we see that the Stokes were down in Jamaica, and they weren't really too fond of the McIver family at all. But what I thought was interesting is that they also cared to show that Cornell and Mariah, wow, were down there as well, but they weren't involved. Probably to just show their innocence without saying that they're innocent. And then back in reality, we're with Mariah, and we're in Harlem's Paradise to be precise. And Mariah is installing the safe room because she's afraid of Bushmaster. She doesn't want to say it, but she's afraid. And so Alex got her like a little handprint thing that only she can access because, only she has that handprint. And, Shades doesn't really feel too fond of it. He thinks it's not going to work too well, but, Mariah doesn't care. So then we go to the precinct. And in the precinct, with Misty, she's sitting here thinking about what could have happened. She's in her zone. She's like, oh, this must have happened. Visioning the crime hasn't happened. She's like, is it you, Mariah? Like, because of course she thinks it's Mariah. Because that would be a reasonable bet. Because who doesn't like the Bushmaster? I mean, who doesn't like Bushmaster's family? Or did no one know that Bushmaster was related? Because I don't think anyone said that. But maybe they did. Actually, yes, because Luke showed it on the back of the cover that Bushmaster was there. So, yeah. And then, so she wants to say it's that, but they're like, oh, you can't rule out the Puerto Ricans, the Koreans, the Italians. So Luke goes to investigate. And he rules all of them out by force. So we go back to Harlem's Paradise. And Shades and Mariah have a very interesting talk. Shades is, well, as Mariah puts it, he's going a bit more vegan, or I guess vegetarian, because I think he still has a taste for blood, but he doesn't want any more killing. After he killed Comanche, he starts to see the error of his ways. He's like, wow, all this senseless killing, for what? And so he tries to implore Mariah to take the high road, but it's not working. And she doesn't like that. And she's like, I'm gonna need you to leave Hernan behind. I need Shades. Shades doesn't have emotion. You have too much of it. And I was like, that's wild. Really? You want him to just only have his gangster side? Okay. Okay, that's not good for his mental health. Okay. And then we go back to Bushmaster's place. And then homegirl Tilda, she's like, I don't understand why he has all this anger for us. Just because of the rum. And he's like, oh, it was more than just rum. And then he tells her about the fire because we've heard about it, but just seeing it, they started like, making rum flames. There's a word for that. When you make rum out of alcohol. Uh I mean rum out of alcohol. When you make a fire out of alcohol, there's a word. Mojito? No. There's a word for it. Mocktail? Okay. Just how you know I don't drink. But yeah, there's something and when you see it like crash against the walls and starts instantly burning up everything, and then his mom self-sacrifice. She's like, no, you get out. I'll worry about myself. And then when he's just crying over his mom, freaking maybe it's Maybelline pops up, and she's like, oh, I told her I don't want to deal with no lawyers. Mm-mm. So we cut to Miss Maybelline's descendant, Mariah, and she's making like heroin deals with the Chinese gangsters, and I'm like, heroin? Ew, that's bad. So Luke, while he was on his investigating stuff, he goes around and he finds out that Ingrid, the aunt, the sole survivor. Oh, that's what I should have said. Yeah, they found that out at the police pondering section. Uh, they found out that the sole survivor must have been Anansi's wife because she wasn't found, but everyone else was, and this sort of was her place. So yeah, they try and find her, and they found her. She's at some clinica, and she doesn't want to go because she's afraid that Luke Cage is going to take her out as bait for her nephew. And that's tragic. She really, like, she knows what's happening. Well, not happening, but she knows what can happen. That's tragic. And so he says we can take her out and protect her. So he takes to try to hide her with the West Indian Parade. But she gets caught back up because, Lord behold, you can't blend in with a hoodie where everyone's wearing this colorful garb. So yeah, what's his face? Shades finds her. And he doesn't kill her though. He gets like very emotional, probably thinking about Comanche. Actually, no, he was thinking about Comanche. He's like, I just can't do this, and he goes. And then we go back to Bushmaster, and then we find out about how he survived. I mean, how this first instance of taking Nightshade, which was very interesting, might I add, because he died because some stoat shot him because they're upset at the family. And Anansi was able to take him over to some random place in the Jamaican jungle, and this woman did her magic, and voila, it worked. Really weirdly, like it just popped out the bullets. That's what we saw before, but it's just weird to see it again. And then as he's like reacting to it in his dreams, he's reacting to the artificial Nightshade in real life, and then he pops up and he's alive again. Since Hernan didn't kill her, well, Luke can still protect her. So Luke sends a text to Missy that she's safe, but he tells her that we need you to testify. And she's like, you want me to relive this? And she's all like, no, I couldn't. That was a horrible thing. All she wants to do is to just see her dead husband. But it's not safe. I don't know about that, to go over there. And while this is happening, Missy's trying to run ballistics on the gun that killed her husband. And she found out very interesting information about on the 38 because it's interesting strikings or something. I should know this, but I don't. But it made like interesting marks on there. And so she does her research, and she found out that that gun matches up the same gun used by Pistol Pete. And so she's like, oh, that directly connects it back to Mariah because that is her relative. And so We try to see what she does with that. But until then, we go to Mariah, and Mariah, like I said, is being haunted. She's drinking a lot, and she says she's better than Mabel. And Mabel, I guess, finally she on her what's his name, Kilgrave type of stuff. And she comes back from the dead. She's like, "Are you sure about that? You're the one with heroin. That's some nasty stuff on the streets." And then Pistol Pete comes back, and it's just eerie. But as good as the effect as it was to show how Mariah is slowly going insane and turning into the evil people that she doesn't like, um, she, I think it would have been cooler to see the people that she has been part to kill or actually directly kill to haunt her, like, you know, Anansi. I think that would have made a bit more sense, and it would have, maybe they could have like snapped her out of it, or maybe that's not the point. Yeah, actually, I don't know. I just thought maybe it would have been interesting, but now I think about it out loud, it's probably better if they did it this way. Hmm. So after this, we go back to Bushmaster, and since he's alive, he tells everyone, he tells Sheldon, his henchman friend thing, to call everyone and tell them that, hey, I'm alive, so let's get this back going. But Sheldon comes back with terrible news, terrible, terrible news, and that is because, well, they find out that Mariah, well, not Mariah, but they figure out, they pretty much think Mariah did it, that everyone at Gwen's is dead. And so, in the next scene, they go to Gwen's and they see it. And Sheldon actually was proposing to kill Tilda because, you know, she is a Stokes. But Bushmaster lets her go, as Mariah should have. But, you know, Mariah should have let everyone go, but that wasn't the tea. And so, in the next scene, we see that Mariah is still drunk and she's getting touchy with Alex. Ma'am, stop being a cougar. It's not cute. Stop it. Well, I said a cougar, but we found out. Actually, no, no, we don't. I'm not gonna say that. That's a bit later. But yeah, she, you know, Alex like stop being a cougar, and then so she has this conversation with Shades again about like, hey, we should really not do this anymore. Like, I'm done. Actually, he was like going earlier. He was like sort of implying that he may not like it anymore, but he's just straight up says, I'm done. And so she starts being really aggressive to him. And then she starts bringing up the command. She's like, yeah, you've been mean. She's like, you've been going soft since your friend died, huh? And she makes a whole bunch of rude gay jokes. And then she like says something to set him off. I think she said like, there was like Brokeback Mountain or something. And then he loses everything because, you know, they had a strong bromance. And then he tries to choke her out, but he's like, you know, you're not worth it. Which is interesting. Very interesting. And then we go back to see Luke. And Luke, as I drop my pencil, Luke is with the aunt because he's trying to take her to see the cadaver of Anansi. But Bushmaster's already there. But she tells him to not fight because she just wants her time to mourn. And then while she's mourning, Bushmaster tried it with the, you know, we're not too different, you know. With that type of speech, I mean, like the aunt was saying that earlier, but like when he said it, I got irritated because we don't need more antagonists saying that they're not, like, that's not good writing. Okay, that's a cliche now. You can portray that, and it was cool that you had the aunt saying it, but once you had the actual antagonist say it from his mouth, yeah, not interesting. Not interesting at all. They could have been. Now, I liked his version of it better when he was on the bridge. We could have been brethren, but he wanted to be a bit more violent with his ways, so that's not the tea. And so the episode ends with Luke warning him to not do anything stupid, or he'll come for him. And as he leaves, he finds Sugar because I called it. Sugar does want to work with Luke, so. He tries to help him as much as he can with information. But then Luke starts talking about like, yeah, Harlem needs a king. And I'm like, no, you don't need power, okay? You already have superpowers. You don't need that type of power. Don't do it. So anyway, thank y'all so much for watching. That was the end of the episode. What did y'all think? I think Luke Cage is so good, y'all. Okay. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all whenever.
You ain't talking money, it's something I don't care about. Black and money minded, they call me a low, let me out. Beyond cloud, I put a rest to the naysay. I only know getting money, my only attack is